What's going on, guys? Welcome on in. We lost $376 trading NVDA. The October blues, I don't even know what to say. So we're going to get into recap here like usual, and we'll go from there. So this ended up closing out the same day as my Bitcoin trade that I already recapped. Should be up on the channel already live. And then this one we're going to get into now. So the thing with this one that kind of gets me is I think I definitely could have avoided this trade to a degree, but here's where kind of here's where my mind kind of played tricks on me, I think, a little bit. It was one of those situations where I'm like, it was like a hunch, but also like I don't just blindly hunch trade. I got my setup, so it wasn't like I did some dumb shit. I got my setup, but then like I took the trade like fully knowing that despite getting the setup, like I was going to have to hold this overnight, and I didn't really know if I wanted to hold it overnight, but I was like, we'll just leave it. You know what I mean? It's kind of the situation. So I didn't really try to think too much of it and just let it go, and it just didn't. The market just reversed. Like, simply put, today is the day where we got in a couple of days ago, and today the NASDAQ does this. So it just completely unravels, breaks down pretty substantially. That's a big one. Got some good volume behind it. So there's not much you can do. Like, you know what I mean? You get in a position that's a swing trade, and this is what people will say, oh, well, it's why you don't swing. You know, okay, fuck, whatever. You know, you could say the same thing about day trades. You know what I mean? No, that's why you don't day trade, because fucking, you know, my data tells me my swings are better. You know, simply put, across hundreds of trades. Well, I guess, you know, 40 something swing trades and 100 plus day trades. Well over a couple hundred day trades. It's like, yeah, you're profitable on both, but not by much on day trades and substantially on swing trades. So you should probably swing trade. This is what the data tells me. So that's why, you know, I kind of lean towards the swings. Now, getting into NVDA, so that's like the overall, like, you know, what the market's doing. So what's going on here? I honestly don't think that this is like completely screwed. You know, it's done. No, like it just didn't go the way I was looking for it to go, you know, per the strategy. As simple as that. So you have higher lows, it's trending up, cool, whatever. But the idea here was on the 1 hour time frame, I did get in as we broke above this consolidation that we had on, on Monday. So as we broke here, I got in. And I liked that a lot. We had decent volume on the break. Like, look at that little 1 hour candle, little nice little volume. So I liked it a lot. The problem was that as I look back on this trade, I think to myself and I say, you know, what do you like? What's the goal? Like, what's the goal here? Right? Here's a 1 hour trade that I don't usually trade too many 1 hour charts, because when I trade the 1 hour, you kind of have that weird, like, is it a day trade or is it a swing trade? Because sometimes, you know, it'll get to your target in the next 2 hours and happen before the end of the day. But sometimes, you know, it will take a couple more hours, you know, and then it's like, well, is it worth holding overnight for the gap down risk and, you know, or gap up risk if you're shorting? So it's like, I don't know. And that's where my mind kind of went on this. And I kind of just said, no, we're going to let it play out. And I'm looking for a push towards the 150 area. My target was up in the 149 area. So I was looking for a big ass move. But then as I now step back and look at it, my stop loss is 138. As I step back and look at it, I go, what the fuck were you doing with that? Right? Because I was trying to catch a bigger move. So like, it was kind of this mindset of like, here's the setup. I think on the broader time frames, we have this is solid based on what I'm seeing. We're breaking out over all-time highs. Cool. Broke a consolidation. Let's go. But I see my setup on the 1 hour. So that would mean I should keep my trade tighter, my risk tighter. But if I keep my risk tighter, the overnight gap down potential is super high, which then could hit me or take me out. So then I go, okay, well, let's play it super broad. Entry off the 1 hour, but super broad. But then that super broad take profit and stop don't really kind of correlate to the 1 hour chart. You know what I'm saying? So if I look back at this, my target and my stop kind of correlate more towards like a 4 hour time frame or a 1 day time frame, versus my entry correlated to the 1 hour. And as I look back on this trade, I say, you know what? We absolutely had a winning trade here. Like, we had a winning trade. We let this just become a losing trade. Why? Because if I'm looking for my setup and I get my little consolidation, right? Okay, cool. Got my consolidation. We break that consolidation. Awesome. Great. And we're breaking, this blue line is the prior all-time high. We're breaking the all-time high. Great. Get in. So I get in, right? But where should the stop, at least me talking to me, where should the stop actually go? Stop should go in this situation underneath breaking candle low. You could go under consolidation low, but realistically, breaking candle low and then look for a 1.5 plus from there. Simple as that. So had I done that and I played that out, by end of day, we literally would have been out the same day. This would have been like 2 hours later, we're out. Because by end of day, we are up here at, I think we closed over 144, I believe, on that day. Let me go to the 5 minute and see. We end up closing pretty much at one. Yeah, so we end up closing up there. Okay, cool. So we end up closing at approximately what is that risk reward wise? Where is she? A 1.8, I believe, 1.82, which would have been good gains to take. You know what I'm saying? I just, for whatever reason, I didn't think that we could get to the target by end of day. And so I was like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to get there by end of day. So I'll play it super wide. I want to be here. The chance of this thing pushing is pretty high. I've seen this happen before. I've seen similar setups. And then what ended up happening was like it kind of, didn't do anything the next day. And then the market kind of unravels today. So it's like irrelevant. Now, overall, big picture, go to the daily chart. Yeah, it's a strong ass stock. I got nothing super negative to say about it. Maybe it pulls back here. Who knows? I would have liked to see a bit more than like a $2 push over all-time highs. I would have liked to see like a $5 to $10 push. We didn't get it, so it is what it is. But that's kind of the idea. That's kind of as I back into it. I think the problem is that I think part of the problem too is that I can't trade in the after hours or pre-market hours. So had I had that flexibility, maybe I would be more confident in taking this trade, because if we had hit my target, which we pretty much would have done, well, actually, if I go back and do that trade, do that kind of mapping again, based off where we hit in the after hours on that day, we would have hit, almost actually a 4. Holy fuck, no, it's a little bit off on the entry. We would have hit almost about a 3-to-1. So it would have hit a 3-to-1 risk reward by the price action that we hit in the after hours. So this is one of those where I don't want to have excuse, you got to take what you can do. This is one of those where if you're trading on your own brokerage platform, in my case, I definitely would have played it, or looking back, I should have, and lesson for next time, I should have played the 1 hour. I should have put stop loss under breaking candle low. Stop loss would have been 141.15, and then take profit, man. We get up over 143. We're looking great. I mean, we can lock gains. 144 hits. We're locking 2.5, almost a 3-to-1 risk reward. Beautiful. That's awesome. That's more than I, on average, get. So totally had the gains there. Just did not. I think I just fumbled the handling of that. Really. I mean, just what was going on. I think a couple things. As I kind of take a step back and look at it. Because that's what these are really for. We had just lost the same day on NVIDIA. So we had lost that day on it. And I'm like, man, it kind of sucks that we lose on the trade, which it then ends up going back and going to where I thought it was going to go. Just the way that it got there didn't go. So I was like, maybe that mentally was a little bit off. I don't know. And then I haven't been like, I haven't had a lot of opportunities. So I'm like, well, when I see something that looks pretty fucking good, I want to take it. And then I think I was looking for more of I don't want to say a home run, because the way I risked, I sized it and risked it, I lost what this is about my maximum loss that I want to take. So it was not terrible. I mean, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I think we have, go back to the month. If you go to the month, what we're looking at is, I think it's pretty clear, a 21% win rate. It's like, man, I feel as if ever since after May, we have been in this just absolute grind of I'm essentially break even since then. And And then B, it's like we get a month where we get a 40-something% win rate, and then we have a month where we're like 30s or 20s, and it's like, oh my fucking God. It makes you feel, now, I'm not as concerned or as worried about this type of stuff as it used to be, because this in the past would cause me to then just overtrade and stuff, and I'm not going to do that here. I just have no intention to do that, and I know that's not going to get me anywhere farther along, right? I know it's going to hurt me. But I'm like, but when this occurs, right, when you have setups that, seemingly are good and they're just not working, it kind of takes a toll. But then as I step back and say, you know what, it's not that they're not working. Because if I go back into this one, the Bitcoin trade, if you want to watch that recap, go ahead. The Bitcoin trade, that one just flat out didn't work. This one did work. This one did. I just didn't, looking back, I did not trade it properly. I did not have a clear plan when I entered. I mean, I did, but I traded this on the 1 hour time frame, based off the 1 hour time frame, but then the idea or the entry came off of that, but the stop and take profit I was basing off the 4 hour or the 1 day. And that just doesn't make any sense. Like you trade off the time frame, you assess your stop and take profit off of the same time frame, not a different fucking time frame. Like, that's kind of like how I feel. It's like, fuck. So it's not like it's not like you know what I mean? It's like I know that. It's not, I don't know. So I try to pull back the layers a little bit and see, or try to understand like what was going on. And I think you can play that into kind of how it's been going. I've just felt like we're just like not, it's like just turn the corner and then things will be better, and we're just not getting there. Maybe it's not, it's also part of the market. You jump out to take a look at the overall market. I mean, here's the S&P. Go to a 4 hour on the S&P. Like I say that because that's not a good environment for me. I know that's not for me. This is the NASDAQ. Even worse, dude. NASDAQ, you can go back in here. The NASDAQ's been shit. You look at large cap tech, and again, NVIDIA kind of fits that bill. It has not been that good. Despite the market going to all-time highs and inching higher, it's not been that good. It has not, look around. Not every stock is at all-time highs. You don't have consistency. You don't have clarity. You've got some stocks going up, some stocks going down. You kind of have this wild, jumbled mess. And that's, I think, pretty clearly indicated by this. So it's like that piece as well, I think, mentally, it weighs on you. So the job that you have to do, I think, at least, I have to do is be able to separate myself, objectively observe and come into the market and say, hey, we have not been getting good opportunities. This is what we have going on in tech. Do we want to be trading in tech? Maybe not, if this is what tech's been doing. Not the best situation for us. However, eventually this will break down and we'll have a bigger move up or down, and we might have opportunities. When that comes, boom, we'll be ready for it. Let's go. And you have to remove yourself from those impacts where it's like, or those effects where it's like causing you to do things not the right way. I guess I'm not saying that totally right, but like the whole idea behind 1 hour time frame trade, but I risk it off the 4 and the 1 day. It's like, dude, what are you doing? If you're thinking clearly, then this is not, you know what I mean? We're fine. Like if you're thinking clearly, don't, you know what I mean? So not thinking clearly based off a bunch of factors, I think plays into it. So that's the deal there. The 10K funded account, we are at currently at 9,882 equity. I have an open trade on that account. And then this is the funded account, by the way. So I have to be over 10K to be able to pull any money out. So right now I'm actually down a little bit off that. And then the other account, this was traded on the 25K account, which is in like phase or step 1 or whatever, trying to pass step 1. I recently got this account to kind of start scaling up. It's at 24,821 equity. So it's like we're down a little bit off of where like the balances kind of began once these accounts opened up fresh, getting past the phase and getting into the funded phase, and this account opening up fresh. But it's like we're just kind of treading water. We're chopping around, having good period, bad period. And I think as I've identified, there has been a lot of opportunities over the past couple of months, and even like we're seeing in this trade, like this is a type of trade where you don't make that mistake and we go from losing 300 and whatever it was, I forget the number, 360 or 76 to now we make 500 on the trade. You know, I think that type of P&L swing is decent, that because we've kind of started to size up a bit more. So, well, maybe this is on track for a pretty bad month dollar-wise per like this year. I mean, it's 2 trades off. Like you're 2 trades from green, realistically, you know, potentially maybe 3. Okay. So that's not that bad. Like if I was down like, I'm in the hole 10 trades, you know what I mean? That's a bad month in my opinion. It's like, hey, we had done something wrong. Either we're spiraling, we are really off on the win rate, or our risk reward is horrible. We're not really that bad. It's not that bad. So it's like, it's just when things are kind of not working great, I had to do a better job of identifying that, which I think I did do the first 2 weeks. And then now kind of picking things up. Is it like FOMO? Is it like I need to do something? Like, is it, I don't know. There's a little bit of that. I think I've done much better than in, months and years past, but that's kind of all that's playing into it right now. So that's the recap. I will link up TradeZilla like always below. I'm going to go ahead and jot some notes down on these. I'm going to go tag the timeframes and the setups, and we will see you in the next recap, hopefully with the green one. We actually have, I'll just talk about it now. So we have an open trade on silver, although it is down 3% today. It's about break even or flat from where maybe it's actually up a few bucks because I'm playing this off the weekly. So not super surprised by a little rejection here. I just do not want to see this thing come back all the way under like 31.50 or somewhere in here. I forget what the number was that my stop loss is at. But I'm looking for a push up towards this blue line right here, just shy of that blue line actually. So we'll see if we get that bigger picture trade. So it's going to take some time. Walmart, on the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, we got something here. So despite the market going down, I mean, this is a long video, but despite the market going down, despite being like, oh my God, not the best of days, oh man, we've seen better. Little Mart action. Who would have thought on a red day in the market, a decently red day in the market, that Mart is pushing? This is one of those where it's like, why? Now, not recapping the trade. We're not done. Could lose. Could probably, I'll probably move my stop to break even for tomorrow, but I'll give it another day because we're getting close to that target. Could lose on it. So no, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's set in stone. But it's like, it's funny. It's why, this is why, getting into the psychology behind it, it's like, it's why you just take the shots. You can't, because I can't tell me which is going to work. All I could do is take the shots, execute properly, boom. Had I executed properly, the NVDA trade, in theory, in hindsight, should have worked, should have made money. That was an opportunity. It was there. We got a good chunk of the move in our direction, should have made money. I did not execute properly. That is my bad. That is on me. That is me fucking up the strategy. Simply put, that is me fucking up the strategy. It's not, oh, the strategy doesn't work. Oh, you're a fucking idiot. No, it's I guess you could say that. I did not execute that properly. What I found is that the way I do things, I can be more selective, which I think could inch up our win rate on average. Give me a fucking 20, give me 50, give me 100 more trades next year, and then we'll talk about that, about maybe changing the strategy if it's really bad, but give me more time. But at the end of the day, you do not fucking know which is going to go. So you take shots and you manage risk. The job is a professional risk manager. That's really what you're trying to be. If you're trying to become a professional trader or, a side thing, for me, it's a side thing. I do not intend for this to be my only main income. I never really intend for that to be the case. And I think it has to be that way anyway. Maybe one day, you can kind of say, fuck you, fuck off, right? And that's it. Because you can get to that point. But if you approach it that way, I can't tell you which month we're going to do good. We could have an incredible November. I have no idea. But because I can't tell you, like I could have a strategy that works so good in October. Maybe you have one. But maybe November comes and it sucks ass. It is ass cheeks in November. How do you play that game of paying yourself consistently or paying the bills if you don't know what your income is going to be? Now, you would have to make a fuck ton of money in the good months to make sure, and then stockpile it to make sure you can pay the bills. So that's why I don't think that it's a very smart approach to say, well, yeah, I'm going to become a full-time trader and that's it. I think you got to have other income streams on the backside in order for you to allow that to become, a really solid income stream one day. And that's the game, and that's the place that we're working on. Like actually trying to get good at the craft, actually trying to learn from our mistakes and get to the point where we can trade when we get setups, whenever that is. I don't know when. I don't have to be here every day to trade. We trade when we get setups, and then when we get the setups, we don't know which ones are going to win. We don't know which ones are going to lose, but the net effect is a positive at the end of the year, and that's all that matters in my book. That's all that matters. I do not care how we get there. I do not care. What I care about is positive year-end numbers, because that's it. Because that could be scaled. All I care about is positive year-end numbers, because we can scale that up, and it could, it could be an infinite, money glitch at the end of the day. Long ass recap. If you are still watching this recap, I honestly am impressed. But you kind of can see the situation that we got going on. So hopefully we have a win to talk about next. We shall see. I do not see much else right now across the board that I'm interested in, although I say that now, and that could totally change by tomorrow for all I know. I'll assess. But I'm looking around. I go to the Russell. I know I'm going to keep going here because I just like to talk. I'm going to the Russell, and I say, from a momentum perspective right here, yes, we're pulling back. Do you want to short right now? No, I don't, because we've got higher lows, big picture. So, well, yes, we've got a short-term pullback. Odds are with each passing red day, we're going to get a bounce. So it's like that is not an enticing, short opportunity. The S&P, well, maybe for you or maybe for somebody else, this breakdown today was a great opportunity. Great. But same kind of thing there, right? Brought it out, big picture. We're massively trending up. I just don't want to short that until I have more confirmation of like a lower high and then breaking down, boom. Then I can get ready for the shorts. I just don't see it. We also have, stocks like Walmart that are fucking crushing. So the Dow, that's not an interesting short to me. Today on the NASDAQ, yeah, this was a breakdown. This was an amazing opportunity for somebody who plays trend lines. Could have identified this. I did. I didn't trade that. I did it though. I identified it, and I knew if this breaks down, could be a tough scene for NVIDIA. Exactly what happened, why we lost in the trade. But in the grand scheme, I would like to see a push back up and then a rollover for me to start saying, okay, we can now talk about the short side here. For my strategy, I'm just waiting for that. Until then, let the market shop around. Whatever's going to happen, happens. We're less than 2 weeks out from the election. Literally 2 weeks from today, we'll probably have the data, the results on who won. Maybe that's going to be a catalyst. I don't know. So a lot to go on, a lot coming up, and it should be interesting. So that's a recap. We're down about $1,000 on the month for now. Is that $1,000 the same, had the same kind of oomph behind it as maybe $1,000 a few months ago? No. Because we have sized up. You can kind of see that. Let me just kind of pull this up. You can kind of see that if I jump out to the year-to-date kind of stats. Go to the across to the right. See how like the markers have gotten a bit bigger. That's because we've been generally sizing it up slightly. Not crazy. I add an extra account in here. We now size a little bit differently on swings, or I'm going to be doing that a little bit going forward. So they're a little bit bigger. Maybe there's less trades, but the trades would be a little bit larger in size, so it ends up evening out. So that's the case. I would love to see more of these massive green bars, but we just don't really have a lot of them because I just haven't really been winning a lot, realistically the past couple weeks. So that's the deal. Really, honestly, you can bring it back to this back in here, back in July, end of July into August. It was kind of like things slowed down a lot. Things picked up in September for a brief period of time, and then things kind of chopped back around. So that's TradeZella. I hope you got something out of this. For future me looking back on this video, I hope this is helpful. That's really why I make these videos, and the whole point of the recaps. So maybe in 2 years I'll look back and go, This fucking guy as he's pulling in a 30K trade. You know, who knows? Maybe I am completely gone. I'm wiped off the face of the earth. I don't know. You're going to see it either way if you watch the videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. TradeZelle link below. If you use my link, I get a commission. You can save 10% with code TC10. When I lose money and I get a commission, it makes me feel good. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.